Hello boys and girls, welcome to my player ratings for yesterday's defeat against Manchester City. Now, we kind of expected that result. We kind of knew that we were going to get beaten and we did not expect to get anything from the game. We know that Manchester City are a better side than us at the moment and it was inevitable. But what I didn't like was some of the things that happened during the game. Let's go with the second half, for example. What on earth was that? Not a single shot on target. Not a shot at all. We looked scared. We looked petrified. Didn't want to cross the halfway line. Looked like they just accept damage limitation. Let's not concede 5 or 6. Let's just get out of here with what we've got. What was that? Toothless. Absolutely pathetic. The substitutions were made too late. They couldn't affect the game. It was just absolutely dreadful. Go to the first half. Everything that has been set up and planned for the game all week is out of the window in the first 60 seconds because Alex Iwobi cannot clear the ball and he's trying to take players on the edge of his own box. What are you doing? Common sense. Use your brain. Seriously. Second goal. Lichtsteiner gets sucked in, Iwobi's nowhere to be found, and you leave Raheem Sterling, of all players, all the time in the world, to just pull us apart. Really? The third goal, Sterling drifted past Iwobi, and he's like, oh, what? Honestly, man. Seriously, I don't mind if you lose, but you put 110% in. But we got absolutely exposed horribly down our right-hand side. Pep Guardiola obviously looked at it and said, right, their weak spot is the right. Attack and just be ruthless. And they were. And they cut us to pieces. Just not good enough. I think that Emery got the team selection wrong. Not so much the tactics, the team selection. Because you play with 2 strikers, but yet have no one with any real creativity behind them. Ozil on the bench, Ramsey on the bench, Suarez on the bench. What's the point? It's like buying a Ferrari, but then you've got no money to run the car. You can't afford petrol. What's the point? Looks nice, it's never going to work. Seriously, man, so annoyed with certain aspects of yesterday. After we equalised, there was about a 30-minute period where we looked alright. We looked quite decent. We looked quite controlled. The midfield of Torreira and Guendouzi were controlling things to an extent. But you felt at any given moment Man City could just step up into second gear and rip us apart. Defensively, shambles. Absolutely shambolic. You know, I'm looking at the remaining fixtures and our only hope is the fact that bar the Manchester United and Spurs away game, that's all we've got left. And I'm not taking the other sides lightly or anything. I'm just saying it's a very favourable run-in in comparison to the other sides. When you look at what Manchester United have got left, when you look at what Chelsea have got left, it's there for the taking. And we're still only 3 points off the top 4. Remember that. You know, next weekend, Manchester City are playing Chelsea. We go to Huddersfield. It's like the role reversal of the fixtures this weekend. So we've got the opportunity to go and take, you know, Huddersfield apart the way that Chelsea did, hopefully, and score some goals and get 3 points. And Chelsea have got to try and go to Man City somehow and get something. That's how tight things are at the moment. It can just keep flipping round from week to week. And then we get a bit of a break because we're not in the FA Cup. And that might actually do us good, especially with injuries and everything else. So yeah, like I said, it's all there. And not really much to take from yesterday. The result was expected, but I just weren't happy with certain things. And individual players were just not good enough. So with that said, I'm going to go and get into the player ratings. Starting off in goal, Leno. And he was, for me, one of the man of the matches. If it was not for Leno yesterday, we'd have conceded at least 6 goals. It's as simple as that. I don't even want anybody to try and compare or have this debate about Leno or Cech anymore. He's our best goalkeeper. End of story. And for yesterday, he gets an 8. Going to move into the right wing back position, and that was Lichtsteiner, and it was absolutely dreadful. Now, at the start of the season, I, like a lot of people, thought that he was going to be a good addition to the squad. He looked decent in pre-season. You remember the very first game of the season against Manchester City, he came on, covered at left back, and was brilliant. And you thought, yes, this is good. But he's been absolutely woeful. The only silver lining to this is that he's got a year's contract. So at the end of the season, he will be gone. End of. Off the wage bill, go and retire. You've had a great career. Bye-bye. And for yesterday, he gets a 2. Going to move into the central areas. First of all, I'm going to go with Mustafi. And yesterday, again, it wasn't that great. It really wasn't. And I do feel at the end of the season, he will be gone. And we can try and get him off the wage bill, try and recoup some kind of money, and get a defender in that can defend. I've seen the images of one where he was dropped back. And I said this in my previews. If you go, you stay. It's like, oh, mate, it's schoolboy. It wasn't great. I'm going to give Mustafi a 3. Going to move to the next position. That was Koscielny, and I think he was the better out of the 3, but it still was not great. He got a goal, but positionally, not good. I've seen the third goal with Aguero. He was touch tight with Aguero. He actually had his hand on him as Sterling was making his move into the box. Touch tight. And then he loses his man. We can't be dealing with that. It's schoolboy. You can't be touch tight to your man in the box and then lose it. Seriously, not great. 4 for Koscielny. Going to move to the next position. That was Monreal. And again, I feel like with the third goal, he could have come across. He's not a centre-back. He shouldn't be playing there. So for yesterday, I'm going to give him a 4 also. Going to move to the left wing-back position, and that was Kolasinac. And not one of his greater days. Not good at all. Can't really say much more than that. Felt he got exposed quite a few times down in the defensive areas, and getting forward was very lackluster. So I'll give Kolasinac a 4. Going to move into the central midfield area, starting off with Lucas Torreira. And again, this is one of the players that was, really good yesterday. Worked his bollocks off. And he's a shining light. When you look at the signings this season, and he's one of the players you've got to be building around. Excellent yesterday. Looked like his old self from about a month ago. And I'll give him an 8. Next position was a young lad, Guendouzi, 19 years old. And he was controlling things in the midfield the way he was in periods of that game yesterday. Immense talent. End of story. It's as simple as that. Again, another shining light within the side. And I'd love to see where he'll be in a few years' time. Another top performance, and he gets an 8. Going to move to the next position. That was Alex Iwobi. What can I say about this performance? Just not good enough. What are you doing with that first goal? Seriously, it just was dreadful. No tracking back, nothing. Poor. Same as Lichtsteiner, 2. Going to move to the next position. That was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and I felt so sorry for him yesterday. The service was absolutely dreadful. What on earth is the man supposed to do when there's just nothing there? There's no supply line. Honestly, awful. And that's not down to him. But you can't give him more than a 4, to be quite honest with you, because there just was nothing there. But that was more down to others than him. So, yeah, like I said, a 4. Going to go with the main striker, and that was Alexandre Lacazette. And the same as Aubameyang, service was absolutely pathetic. And you can't give him more than a 4. But that was not down to his overall performance. It was down to the service. It was absolute shite. You can't play with 2 strikers and then not have anyone that's creative behind them. It's as simple as that. The substitutions, I'm not really going to mark them, to be quite honest with you. I felt sorry for Denis Suarez having to make his debut when he was already 3-1 and the game was done. Aaron Ramsey tried, but that's about all you can say. Mavropanos came on, didn't have a lot of time to affect the game, and I think he should be starting now. And that was pretty much it. You go to the manager's rating, Unai Emery, and I'm going to give him a 4. I think that personnel was wrong. Not so much the tactics, it was the personnel. Like I said, playing with 2 strikers, but then you don't put any creativity behind them. This whole Ozil situations is doing my head in. Ramsey was not starting. I think that Cole Jenkinson should be ahead of Lichtsteiner. Just not good enough. So he gets a 4 for yesterday. So there we go. That is it. That is the player ratings for the game. And like I said, the result was expected, but the performance pissed me off in certain aspects. There was a few players that can hold their head up high, and it's no coincidence those players are the new signings, and those are Emery players. And there's some in the summer that need to get out of this club, and we need to have a massive clear out, and Emery needs to get his own stamp on this team. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'll be back for a preview before we play Huddersfield this week. Then there'll be the matchday vlog and the player ratings, of course. So until then, I'll see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.